Speaking of AWS, I want to talk about you and your career a little bit. You worked at AWS, you worked at Meta, you worked at Netflix. How do the AIPM cultures differ at those three companies?
Yeah, very different. Let me start with Amazon or AWS, which is where I started my career. It's a very customer obsessed document writer kind of a way. I think Amazon invented the term PRFAQ or the six pager, where everything at Amazon starts with a press release and a frequently asked questions document even before like engineering even starts a single line of code or before a design mockup is created. And the philosophy is we work backwards from the customer. You start thinking from the customer problem and you articulate why existing solutions don't work and then explain how your product solves it. That's the PRFAQ or the six pagers that's used for strategic reviews. Now, it's not just a document for the sake of document. It's taken very seriously. This PRFAQ is reviewed all the way up by your VP or even sometimes Andy Jassy. And it's a very document writing heavy culture where I think Amazon PMs spend probably 40 to 50% of their time writing documents.
Whoa.
So you become an exceptional writer at Amazon. There's just no option around it. At Meta, I think it's the complete opposite in terms of process. If Amazon is about rigorous upfront planning, Meta is all about experimentation and iteration. And the culture ethos reflects that, right? Like it says, move fast. So at Meta, product management is expected to be deeply technical, where you're able to understand the code base, you're able to go through the insights of how something was implemented. You're able to talk about how to ship multiple variants. How will you test them against your control groups? And you let the data tell you what works. I think of all the companies I've worked with, I've seen Meta having the most sophisticated experimentation infrastructure in the industry. And as a PM there, you live and breathe statistical significance. At Netflix, the philosophy is context over control, where perhaps it's the most unique approach to product management amongst the big tech. Instead of having like some rigid process or some documentation requirements or some approval hierarchies, Netflix invests heavily in making sure everyone understands the strategic context, and then they trust you to operate independently within that context. So you're expected to be an exceptional communicator. You don't have to always be very formal with documents in the way that Amazon expects, but it's all about building alignment through conversation, presentation, and shared understanding. So you need to be very comfortable with ambiguity and be able to define your own swim lane.
All three of those companies, Meta, Amazon, and Netflix, they're kind of notorious for having hard cultures, like performance-oriented cultures. Amazon just laid off 30,000 people. Meta has the rolling layoffs. Netflix is known. Even Reed Hastings has slowly stepped back from his own role. Different people will leave. There's pressure everywhere. How is it working in these companies? Would you recommend it to other people?
It's an absolutely phenomenal experience. I think I've learned a lot from working at these companies. I have built the documentation, customer thinking rigor. Like working at Amazon, the first thing you learn and it gets ingrained in you is working backwards from a customer pain point. With Meta, it's all about how do I test quickly? Once I know what I want to build, how do I test quickly? What should that experimentation culture look like? And with Netflix, I have learned truly about what does autonomy mean and the power of autonomy and the shared experience of building consensus and working together towards a shared vision. It shapes who you are as a person, the kind of insights you get as a product manager, And the scale is phenomenal across Amazon, Meta, Netflix. Every feature that you build is probably used by millions of users. So the scale that you get to work with is amazing. And that would be an experience that I would encourage everyone to have at some point in their career in their roster.
Today's episode is brought to you by Amplitude. Replays of mobile user engagement are critical to building better products and experiences. But many session replay tools don't capture the full picture. Some tools take screenshots every second, leading to choppy replays and high storage costs from enormous capture sizes. Others use wireframes, but key moments go missing, creating gaps in your understanding. Neither approach gives you a truly mobile experience. Amplitude does things differently. Their mobile replays capture the full experience. Every tap, every scroll, and every gesture, with no lag and no performance hit. It's the most accurate way to understand mobile behavior. See the full story with Amplitude.
I hope you enjoyed that short clip. You can check out the full episode here.